Hi friends, if you're new around here, welcome to my channel. If you're not new around here, welcome back. In this week's video, I'm going to be sharing a week of from scratch dinners, just that our family is having this week. We're going to be sharing 5 different meals that are really easy to throw together, really frugal and budget friendly, and also just full of nutrients and pantry stable ingredients that you probably already have in your pantry. Although we do eat from scratch and our diet consists of mostly from scratch meals, we also eat very frugally and on a budget, and we try to be very budget conscious with the ingredients that we're getting. So I made sure that these meals are all very inexpensive to make and easy to throw together, as well as full of ingredients that you can mostly find already in your pantry. There may be a few things that you need to grab or swap out for other things that you already have in your pantry or in your fridge. But other than that, it should be really easy to grab the ingredients, throw them together, and make these meals. From scratch cooking does not have to be intimidating. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Sometimes it does definitely take a little bit more time, but it doesn't have to take all day to make meals. And I think you'll see that with all of these meals that I've included. So we change up what we eat week to week, but these are just 5 different meals that we regularly have in our diet, especially for winter. They're cozy meals that are really nutritious and really yummy, and so I think you'll really enjoy them. We've had a lot of people ask, like, with cooking from scratch and making that switch, what are we exactly eating? Like, how do we make that simple and all of those things? So hopefully this video will be really encouraging and helpful, and if you like seeing content like this, I love seeing what other people are eating and how they're throwing meals together, and so hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you like seeing this kind of thing, let me know below, and if you're new around here, I would love if you subscribe and stick around to see more content like this. So let's get into the meals. Okay, for tonight's dinner, we are doing I think it's called ham and bean soup. It's really yummy, great for winter, really cozy, like filling meal, and pretty easy overall. And we're actually taking it to small group. And one of the things we decided recently was that we've never really prepped meals for the postpartum period before, but we have more kids obviously this time around. We cook from scratch now, and we hadn't done that before we had our previous 2 kids. And so we have decided to just make it a little bit easier. We'd like to have a few meals, even if we're not going to have tons and tons. So every time we make soup, the plan is to double it and then freeze one of the batches for, you know, whenever we want it for postpartum. And so I'm going ahead and doubling the soup recipe so that we can freeze one of them and then taking one to small groups. So getting all the bacon out now, and I'm going to dice it up, and then I need to dice up the carrots and onions, which I'll be honest, knife skills are not my strong suit in the kitchen, and that's something that I feel like I've really noticed I would like to get better at and work on with kitchen skills is my knife skills in general. I feel like it takes me forever to dice things up and cut things. I don't know, I just feel like it takes forever. So that's something I would like to work on soon, but at the moment I'm gonna actually use scissors. See if this works, to kind of just cut them into strips and dice them up. Hopefully it will be quicker, but to be honest, these are kind of crappy scissors. I don't know with this fat. We'll see how this goes. I might have some bigger pieces in there, which is totally fine. Our scissors, our nice scissors, broke recently, and we just got a pair from the dollar store randomly because we were there getting like Christmas wrapping paper and stuff. So we just got a pair from there, and we need to get another nice pair, honestly, because obviously it would save us a lot of time. So
after cutting up all the bacon, I'm going to go ahead and peel the carrots and then dice up the carrots and onions so that it's ready to go when I need it here shortly. And I will link all the recipes below so that you have access directly to all of the recipes. And then you'll add the bacon directly to a pan and go ahead and cook the bacon all the way through so that it is ready to use in the recipe.
Is that like yummy, Noxie?
Next, I am adding the onions and carrots to the bacon grease. I took the bacon out and I just added the onions and carrots in. And once the carrots and onions are fully cooked and soft, I'm going to go ahead and add all my beans and all my chicken broth to the pot and just stir it all together so that it gets combined really well, and just keep stirring.
Random little thing that has nothing to do with the dinner I'm making. I had some extra sourdough starter today. I need to make some rolls and bread, but it wasn't active anymore. It was just sourdough discard, and I never ever throw away my sourdough discard. I always use it for recipes, but I didn't really have a recipe that I wanted to make right now or that I needed to make, and so I put the extra that I had in a bowl and then filled it up with water, so it made it like a little bit more liquidy, and we took it out to the chickens and the goats, which have a ton of benefits for them. And I had heard a couple people say that they do that, but I hadn't tried it yet. And we did that, and I didn't even get any, like, I was gonna record it to share it on Instagram, and I didn't get anything because they ate it so fast. They loved it, so I might have to start incorporating that when I have some extra sourdough discard, because then I can just take it right out to the animals and it helps them and gets rid of the extra for me, so win-win. Okay, it came to a boil now, so I'm gonna turn it down to medium, and we're gonna let it simmer for about an hour. We don't always do a full hour. We usually do like 30 minutes to an hour, and then we'll do the next steps.
The last step after everything is cooked through is just grabbing an immersion blender, and Matt is just blending it all together for me to make sure it's really smooth and creamy.
Okay, so we had to rush out the door before I could show you guys plating this last night for small group, and I'm just having some leftovers for lunch today, so I wanted to show you the finished product. Doesn't necessarily look the most appealing, I'll be honest, of all of the meals that we make. We usually mix rice in, and it makes it go even further, and it just tastes really, really yummy. But this is the finished product. Tonight's dinner, we're gonna do sourdough pizza, and we actually do that straight from the sourdough starter. I fed the starter yesterday, and then I'm using it today, and you put it straight in the skillet. I'll show you how to do that, and then I'm gonna make a from scratch Alfredo sauce, throw some broccoli on it, and it's a super easy, quick, really yummy dinner. It's kind of been our favorite pizza that we've been doing lately, and we usually do sourdough pizza probably once a week on average, because it's just easy and really yummy.
One of the things I really like to do if Matt is around and he has the kids and they're playing in the living room or whatever while I'm making dinner is to put in my earpods and just listen to a really good podcast, something that I've been wanting to listen to, and just take a little time to relax and de-stress while I'm cooking. Cooking is really enjoyable for me, and I really do enjoy it, but I think adding those extra steps to take some time to just relax after a long day really helps just get through the rest of the day. I just added the butter, the heavy cream cheese, and the garlic to a pan and got that all stirred together and melted together, and then I'm shredding the Parmesan cheese, and then we will add the Italian seasoning, salt, and pepper to the heavy cream, butter, cream cheese mixture that we're making for the Alfredo sauce, and then you just mix it all together and then start whisking everything together so that you can get it all combined, especially with the cream cheese. There's sometimes little extra lumps, so that helps. And then we're adding the Parmesan cheese in slowly and continuing to whisk it so that it will start to come together and combine as the cheese is melted. For the pizza crust, I already preheated this cast iron in the oven on 500 degrees, so it's ready to go. I usually put some oil down first, and then I just pour straight out of my sourdough starter into the hot skillet, and you just start spreading it around to basically form a crust on the edges of the skillet, and then make sure that the whole area is covered. I learned this from Farmhouse on Boone, and I will link her recipe below if you can call it a recipe. It's very, very simple, super easy. Once you get it all spread out and spread around, it will start cooking as you spread it out, and then you put it in the oven for about 10 minutes and then pull it out, and you will add all your sauce and all your toppings next after you do that.
Hot, Mama.
Yes, hot.
Buffy?
Yeah, pizza, Mama.
Ben?
Pizza.
Pizza?
Mm-hmm. No, Noxie.
Buffy alone?
After the crust has baked for about 10 minutes, then I'll pull it out, and my sauce is already ready to go, so I'll start spreading that out on the pizza, just leaving a little bit of a rim so that we can have a crust to grab the pizza and get that evenly spread out. And then we like to add broccoli on top of this. You could also add like chicken, is really yummy with it. You can do different things like that, but we're just not loving chicken right now, so we're not personally doing the chicken. Just pregnancy is so weird. But now I'm doing my second pizza. This is on a pizza stone, so we'll use usually a pizza stone for one and then the cast iron for the other, and make sure they're preheated first, and then spread everything out, put the toppings on, and then you're going to put it back into the oven for about 8 minutes or until the pizza is cooked through. This is one pizza that we absolutely never have leftovers of. We usually make 2 for our family, sometimes we even make 3, and we still never have leftovers because it is so delicious. So we are ready to eat.
Okay, tonight's dinner is sheet pan dinner, which we love. Really healthy, lots of good nutrients, and also you can use like whatever you have in your fridge. You can use whatever leftover produce you have. You can use chicken. To be honest, we don't use a lot of chicken right now because I don't know if I've talked about this on the channel or not, but I've had a lot of food aversions this pregnancy that I haven't had with the other 2, and chicken is one of them that I just don't love, and Matt isn't loving it right now either for whatever reason. It's just something that we're not loving the taste of. So we are not using chicken tonight just because we haven't been using it nearly as much, and just doing like vegetables and rice and stuff like that. But we're doing a sheet pan dinner, super easy to throw together, super quick, really yummy. We all 4 like it, and like I said, you can really sub out whatever ingredients you have in your fridge. Today we're using carrots and potatoes and squash and green beans because that's what we have and what we got for this dinner, but you can use all sorts of different vegetables and just sub it out with whatever you have in your fridge. Okay, Matt threw together and sliced up all the vegetables for me while I put the kids in the bath. And normally I put some aluminum foil down, but we just ran out, so I'm just spreading some oil around on the pan really quick just so that it won't stick as much. I just try to like evenly disperse it as much as possible, but really it's just a lot of pouring it out at the beginning and then just rearranging everything. One thing for us that we're a little bit untraditional in is that actually Matt was the primary chef in our family, the preparer of our meals for many years. And still is, actually. I do all of the like sourdough and all of the baking. I do all of that kind of thing. So all of our bread needs, and like I said, all the sourdough, all of that, I do that solely by myself. And I would say I do more of the cooking now. It just kind of depends on the evening, honestly. We just kind of split it up on who does it. But I would still say Matt does the cooking more often than not. He likes cooking, he doesn't mind it. He's good at it, and it kind of just depends, like I said, what tasks we have on the agenda for the evening. So you guys will probably see in some of these videos that he's helping me out. Either we're tag teaming things, or you may even see him pop into some of the videos because, like I said, he does do a lot of our cooking. Like at this point he doesn't do entirely all of it, but he does do a good portion of it, which is amazing that he is willing to do that and willing to help out in that way. It takes a lot of burden off for sure, and it's very helpful. So I think I'm gonna have to get a second pan for this actually and spread this out because there are a lot of vegetables. This is gonna last us probably a little while. We also, another thing that we do, I don't know if I mentioned this yet either, is we plan for leftovers to be lunches. And that's something we very regularly do. We will have a few things on hand for lunches, but we don't like make extra lunches really. If we aren't having leftovers, we're having like even eggs or like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or deli meat sandwiches, things like that that are really easy. Occasionally I'll do like macaroni or something like that. but for the most part, it's really easy things or leftovers, and leftovers are pretty much what we do 90% of the time. And so that works really well to plan that out so that we're making, you know, a big enough meal at dinner that we have leftovers, and then we can have it for dinner the next day. Just gonna kind of toss the olive oil in a little bit with my hands just to make sure it's coated everywhere. And then I'll put the seasonings on next.
I'm using everything but the bagel seasoning, as well as just a little bit of Cajun seasoning. So these are the two seasonings that I'm going to use on top of the vegetables and spread them throughout. I definitely am generous with the everything but the bagel seasoning. We buy a lot of this and we love it. So I put a lot of that on there, and just a little bit of the Cajun seasoning because it's easy to do too much and we don't want that issue.
We have a little bath boy joining us, and then the vegetables just went in at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes, so we'll let them cook until they're cooked through, and then I will show you guys the finished product. Did you have a good bath, Max? He's a little sad tonight after his bath, but he's all clean and fresh.
We just cooked some plain white rice to have along with the sheet pan veggies, and we just threw it all together, and we had a delicious meal that was so easy to make. For tonight's dinner, we're doing biscuits and gravy, and so I did the first part of the sourdough biscuits last night, and then I'm getting them out now to roll out the biscuits, cut them out, shape them, and get them ready to bake.
We are doing biscuits and gravy tonight. Obviously, I already made the biscuits, which I showed you. So I am getting the sausage cooked up and starting on the gravy quickly. So this should be pretty quick to throw together if I can get the package open, which apparently is proving to be the hardest part of this.
Okay, I just finished browning the ground sausage, and then I am melting the butter in the cast iron skillet, and then as soon as that is melted, I'm adding in the flour, and I'm going to use my spatula and stir it around to get all the clumps out and really make sure that the flour and the butter is well combined. And then we're making a roux with this, so we're just going to keep stirring it, and then I got the whisk out to keep combining it and make sure it was really well combined and smooth. And then we're slowly going to add the milk in half a cup at a time, and then keep stirring it and combining to make sure everything is all mixed together really well. The last step with this gravy mixture is just seasoning it, so you can add whatever seasonings you would like. I believe the recipe actually just called for salt and pepper, so I added that and got that all combined, and then after we whisk it together and make sure it's ready to go, then I'm adding the sausage in and stirring that all together. We actually ended up having kind of a weird ratio of sausage to gravy. I should have doubled the gravy recipe, and we did end up fixing the gravy after this so that it was more traditional biscuits and gravy, but either way, it was still delicious.
Okay, tonight's dinner is a shepherd's pie soup that is super yummy, so I'm working on throwing that together. I set out the half and half that we need, and the sour cream and the cheese. It said to set that out and let it get to room temperature, so I'm doing that, and then I'm going to I'm going to brown the ground meat really quickly. I also made some rolls that we're going to have with the soup, so I'm ready to pull those out really quick.
While the meat is finishing browning, I'm going to go ahead and peel all of the potatoes, and then I'm going to cut them into thirds. As you can see, I have a little helper that showed up. She loves to watch and help as much as she can. Obviously, shredding potatoes is a little bit of a harder task for her right now, but she did hang out with me. You'll probably notice that my kids are in and out while I'm cooking dinner. They like to help as much as they can. Sometimes they just hang out and watch. Sometimes they're playing with Matt. and playing with toys in the living room. It just kind of depends, but they're definitely along for the ride in all of it. So now I'm putting all of the potatoes that I cut into thirds into my cast iron Dutch oven, and I am covering them with water. And then after I get about an inch over the top of them, I'm going to add a little bit of salt, and we're going to bring this to a boil for 10 to 15 minutes to get these potatoes really soft. And then Matt is mashing these up with some butter and milk to make mashed potatoes. The next step, I have some butter already melted after I took the potatoes out, and I added the onions and cooked them until they were soft. Now I'm adding the garlic, and then next we're going to start whisking in the flour and cooking it for a minute to remove the raw flour taste. Now I'm adding in my chicken broth in splashes and just stirring it really continuously to get it really well combined. This took a little bit to keep stirring it in, but it helps the process if you do it slowly. And then add in your Worcestershire sauce. I cannot say that ever. And then all of your seasonings, Italian seasoning, mustard powder, and sage, adding all of those in and getting them really well combined. Okay, I added the half and half in slowly, and I'm continuing to stir. Obviously lots of stirring with all of these soup recipes. And then after I did that, I'm adding in the mashed potatoes that Matt mixed together for me and making sure to stir those as well. Now we are almost done, and one of the last steps is just getting the immersion blender out and slowly blending everything together to really incorporate those mashed potatoes and get everything to be really smooth. You're going to add in your frozen vegetables, add in your beef, which all just kind of fell in one plop, and then I'm adding in the sour cream as well and getting that all mixed together. And then the last step is just adding our shredded cheese and mixing that all together. Alright, and here's the finished product. It looks and tastes delicious. This is one of my favorite soups. And then we have our yummy sourdough rolls to have alongside it, and I'm starving, so I'm ready to eat.
Okay, tonight we are going to do burrito bowls, which is a super quick, easy meal. We realized that we don't have beans, and we usually use beans in it, but aside from that, everything will be normal that we normally do. Some cilantro lime rice. We do some meat, either chicken or beef. Tonight we're going to do beef, and then we do corn and beans, and we mix it all together. Super easy. Sometimes we do tortillas and do like burritos, but we're not doing that tonight. And Matt is actually going to throw it all together for me, so I'm going to set up the camera so you guys can see what he's doing, and I'm going to go give the kids a bath actually before dinner tonight so that we can get them to bed because we are running a little behind today. Oh, was it a quick prayer?
Amen.
Say amen. What do you want to say? You gonna talk to them?
No.
No.
Ooh.
You give the baby kiss? No, don't pull my shirt up. No. You give the baby kiss? Give the baby kiss. Oh, sweet boy.
Okay, I took the kids in the other room to start giving them a bath while Matt cut up the onions for me and diced them all together, and then he threw them in the cast iron with a little bit of oil and started getting them cooking so that they would be really soft and ready to go. Next he added some garlic in and stirred that all together and cooked it until it was soft. And then he is going to add in the ground beef that we are using for our bowls tonight next and get that all browned and mixed together. He also made some rice, and we normally just do white rice for cilantro lime rice, but he decided to get a little adventurous this evening, and he added some seasoning and some Spanish rice seasoning, and then added the cilantro into that, which wasn't horrible, but it wasn't our favorite thing we've had either, so I don't know that we would necessarily do it again, in all transparency. So now I'm just making my bowl. I added my rice, and then I added my corn and beans and meat and cheese and salsa. We usually just have a few different toppings, and everyone just chooses what they want.
Just wanted to close out the video and say thank you so much for watching this week of from scratch dinners with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got some inspiration from it. I'd love to know in the comments if you like this kind of video or if you want to see more cooking from scratch kind of content. If you're new around here, I make lots of videos just about our backyard homestead, motherhood, cooking from scratch, all of those kind of things. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, I would love if you would subscribe and join our little family here on YouTube. And if you are not new around here, thank you so much for watching another video, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye, friends.